Hey guys, continuing where I left off with part one. This is part two of What's News, and I'm just gonna go right straight to one of the stories that was given to me by a friend of mine. Another one that was given to me by a friend of mine, and this one is a sad one, a very very sad one. Uh, it's involving two best friends in Texas. They were in a fishing boat when that boat started taking water. This pretty much led to one friend making a very, very tough decision, which either if he didn't do it, they both would have went down. But apparently, um, that decision was made, and he survived, but his friend did not. It basically happened. They was both stranded out sea for more than 30 hours, um, and they couldn't do anything. They tried to contact 911 for their cell phones, but there was no cell phone services. Nothing came through their intercom when it was trying to call help, and in the end, the boat basically started sinking, and there was in a drift. They try to sink. They try to reach the shore. They try to reach land, but apparently uh, one of them, which was the friend, um, started to have hyperthermia, which left him to make a very strong decision, where he had to cut the life jacket. No, I'm talking about the string, the strap that held them two together. And he ended up going to shore. He made it to shore, but his friend did not. His body was found about a few hours later. Um, it's a very sad story. It's a very, very story which, honestly, I really am stunned, and I really don't have much to say about it because, let's be honest, this is a situation which I don't wish on anybody. This is a situation, a no-win situation, which no matter what you guys may think, you really don't know what you're going to do unless you are really honestly put in that situation. It is a very tough story. Um, it's a story that I know that one of the victims, Ken Henderson, um, is right now is living with, and is basically is feeling the guilt. I know he wish he could have done more to save his friend, but unfortunately, under the circumstances they were in, there was really nothing much he could have done. And of course, a decision had to be made. Again, this is something that you really have to be in this situation to fully understand the urgency of fighting for your life. And unfortunately, this is one of those no-win scenarios where even the teachers have brought up in a couple of my class session is if a situation comes down and you know that you can go down along with somebody else, what would you do? And these are one of the situations. So my only thing I can say about this story, the only thing I can say is my condolences go out to Ken Henderson. Also, uh, my condolences go out to to his best friend, which his name was um, his name seems to escape my mind, Colin, um, which I wish my heart and soul will go out to the family and as well as everybody who's connected to him. I will leave a link below to this topic so you got a better idea of what's going on. You guys can comment on it after you've read it. It is written by the Associate Press. This is a very tough read because it explains details and timelines after everything that happened, and then you guys can comment on here if you guys choose to. But again, very very sad, very very tragic. This was reported not only on the Associated Press, but it was also reported excuse me. It was also reported on the Daily News. Yahoo reported it briefly, and I know the New York Times has posted it as well. So it's definitely out there. You guys can check all those sites. I'll leave the link to the Associated Press, so you can read it for yourself. Moving on. This one is an interesting story I wanted to talk about. It's a story that I have talked about for some time, and now I'm going to talk about it here. This involves another parenting lesson, a very not so controversial as you would expect. Is not as shocking as the guy who shot his daughter's computer about a few months back. It's not as abusive as the idiot lawyer who beat his autistic daughter as a sign of discipline because she downloaded some illegal downloads on a computer. This is more about pretty much in the middle. And I will say this, if you've seen Die Hard with a Vengeance, and the beginning part where McClane had to do something in order to stop the terrorists, you pretty much know where I'm going to. I'm going to read the article. Again, this is from the Associated Press, and you guys can come up with your own conclusion. This is one of the stories that either you're going to agree and applaud his discipline, or you're going to say he went a step too far. I'm mixed with this, but there's a reason why I'm mixed with it, so let me just read, and then you guys decide from there. 12-year-old Jose Gonzalez isn't having much fun on his spring break, but his father hopes it will be a week the Denver area youth will never forget. The Denver Post reports that after Joseph Gonzalez found out his son Jose had stolen $100 from his cousin's wallet, he forced his son to stand on a downtown street corner holding a sign that reads, "I'm a thief. I took money from my family members. Don't give me money." He's a good kid, Gonzalez told reporters. This is the first time he has done something like this. I hope it will be his last. Well, after standing in a street corner, I can see that may be his last. Who knows? The first glance of the punishment sounds like an effort of old school punishment that will likely bring nods of approval from many readers, myself included. This is the person who wrote the article. But it seems a bit extreme that Jose would have ever been in trouble with the law, being required to hold a sign up for 10 hours in a single day. It sounds a little bit like a disciplinary lesson out of the Army. I'm actually abbreviating because, let's be honest, the guy went a little overboard with the sentence. But like I said, I'll leave the link to this report, and you'll see why I'm abbreviating this, because frankly, I have no clue about all this extra stuff that didn't need to be here. But it's definitely Army related. In taking responsibility part, the taking responsibility part is cool, but the rest is not cool. A father psychologist, Jim Hansman, told the papers, "This is about shame. In the old days, we used to just shame people, hang signs around their necks in public." Hansman said Jose is too young to gain any insight from the punishment. I kind of disagree with that part, but I'll get to that in a minute. I think it's like this is Jose's comments now. "I think it's like fair," Jose said in the video. "I was kind of mad but sad at the same time because I thought I was going to be embarrassed a lot." This is his words. That's why it sounds like the way it sounds like. But his dad isn't worried about psychological scars, nor the public notoriety gained from Jose's punishment. Nor he's only 12 years old, he said. "Everybody makes mistakes at the time of their lives. It's about being corrected," which I do agree. In addition of making his son hold a sign, Joseph took Jose to his school, where he made him admit his theft to school officials and police officers. Now, that's something I don't agree, and I'll get to that in a minute. That's something I definitely do not agree, and I think that's kind of over pushing it. But now it's time to comment on why I do not agree with that move. um, right over there. Here's the thing. I don't think he did too much wrong with putting a sign up of him and met him down the street. I think 10 hours was extreme. I would not have done it for 10 hours, but I think the idea, I think it wants to embarrass him, but also to teach him that, hey, this is not what you did was not a joking matter, and I think he wants to discipline him now before it gets worse. And let's be honest, most criminal behavior actually do start at home and it spreads outside. And I think this is his way of saying, oh, no, 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 we're not going to have that there. As for the psychologist, I'm not buying that he's not aware of right and wrong. Hey, you start speaking, you start talking back, you're aware of right and wrong. That's just my opinion. And you can't always baby your kids, especially at his age. He's a preteen, and you need to be tough with them now before they start getting to that idea that they can just talk back to you and just do whatever the hell they want. Believe me, just all you need to do is look at Twitter and Facebook. You understand what I'm talking about. There are a lot of disrespectful kids out there, and sometimes you need to, show them a little bit of tough love to get the point across. With that being said, I would not have let him go tell the school and police officials that what he have done. I mean, this happened within the confinements of the family. I thought the family should have handled it the way they did it. I wouldn't have run out into the school telling them what happened. I definitely wouldn't go tell the police, because the police, he's basically committing a crime, and guess what? He's probably be hauled to jail. There is sort of thing of putting kids in prison in jury hall. They don't care about that. I think he needed to be very careful about that. I know he's trying to teach him a lesson of respect and honesty, but there are just some things you need to be aware of. By him doing it, you're basically opening the door to say, here, arrest my son, lock him up. And I don't think you want to invite that too much, especially when it happened in the family thing. You want to punish him, fine. You want to, have him a street sign for a few hours, not 10, fine. But for you to actually go a little bit farther down that road, I think you could have handled it a little bit better. I think you went a little overboard. But again, that's just me. I wouldn't have gone to the school, especially it has nothing to do with them. Why bother them unless you think that he's going to actually steal from the school? But even with that, that's just something that you're creating in your own mind. But you guys may think differently, of course. You may actually think that there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. If you do, please put down in the comment section. Let me know how you would have dealt with that. Because it sounded interesting, because there are people out there who say, I agree with them 100%. There's others who think he's crossed the line. There are some people who will say that if it was my kid, I would have done the same thing. I wish there were more people like that. I always say again, the reason there are different parents, and parents raise their kids a lot differently. Not everybody goes by the same discipline. It's basically according to your discipline, how you was raised, and how you plan to raise your kids. And that's pretty much why nobody goes by the same route as some of the parents you've been hearing lately have been doing. But again, that's just how I see it. That's just how I view it. You guys may view it differently. If so, it's not a big problem. Just leave your comments below. Let me know what you think, and let your voices be heard. I got 3 more. I'm gonna leave the the 2 major ones last, because there's one that's really something that I really want to talk about. But because I have a very mixed reaction to it, so I'm gonna probably get to this interesting thing that we have at Mega Millions. As you guys know, we have 3 winners. One from Illinois, one from Kansas, one from Maryland. This was reported by Yahoo, Associated Press, News. Daily News, New York Post. I have a link to the Associated to to the time so you guys can check it out yourself. But apparently there are 3 winners out there. Each winner is get to have a share of the huge $640 million mega jackpot, the largest that we have ever seen to this date. The Illinois winner ticket was sold in a small town of Redbud. Never even heard this town before, near St. Louis. And the winner used a quick pick to select the numbers. Illinois lottery spokesman Mike Lane said. The Maryland lotteries, this says it was sold to the winning ticket of a retail store in Baltimore County. The winning ticket was also purchased in northeast Kansas, according to Kansas Lottery website. The spokesman didn't immediately return any messages Saturday morning. So right now, this is the winning drawings. The winning drawing was 2, 4, 23, 38, 46, and the Mega Ball 23. So that's very, very interesting. So Maryland Lottery spokesman Caroline Britt said the last time a ticket from this state won a major national jackpot was in 2008 when the ticket was sold for $24 million. We're thrilled, she said. We're due for excitement. Now, I'm not going to go any further on this because, frankly, I know a lot of news media is going to cover it, so it's no sense of me going any further. What I will say is that I wouldn't be surprised if this drags on a little bit. I don't think they're going to, the people who won the ticket either know they won the ticket or pretty much are won the ticket but afraid to come forward. And that's largely because this is a life-changing situation here, and it can bring some good vibes and also some bad vibes in many ways. And I'm going by the past lottery winnings and also by a lot of people's feelings towards the game itself. Even though a lot of people flocked to get their lottery tickets, have went out there and got the tickets in advance, a lot of people who I spoke to feel it's not a good thing to win a lot of money. They have a lot of reasons, of course, one of them being that as the moment you win that lottery ticket, the moment you start seeing the sums of cash, you start getting humongous calls from many different agencies, many different charities, many different investors. The vultures come out of nowhere. They didn't know who you were, they didn't care about you, and all of a sudden they hear your best friends, they want your services and all that stuff. So that stuff always seems to come with the package, and I think that these winners pretty much are aware of that. So I think they're going to take their time. They're going to reveal themselves in due time, and hopefully once they get their winnings, they can able to invest it wisely and not foolishly like some other people who had won the lottery but only years later be broke once again. That can also happen as well. So with that being said, I'm going to move right on. Again, I will leave the link to this report, and you guys can check it out yourself and comment on yourself if you whatever you feel about this latest development. But again, 3 lottery winners for the mega jackpot of $640 million. Man, oh man, oh man. Alright, I got 2 major stories here, both pretty much politically charged. I'm going to go with this one because simply I just recently watched his show, only to find out on my screen that he's no longer going to be with this program, and that is Kenneth Obermann. I hope I'm saying his right name. Kenneth Obermann. As you guys know, he is a talk show. He has a show on late nights for Current TV. He is no longer with Current TV, and he is also expected to be on the Late Show with David Letterman. But that's not stopping him from speaking. Obermann, who hosted the 1-hour primetime talk show on Current each weeknights, took to Twitter after Al Gore and Joe Hunt's current founder announced Obermann's dismissal in a letter posted on current website. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not know Al Gore owned this show. I didn't know who owned Current TV. I was aware of Current TV due to the Young Turks. The Young Turks got recently picked up by Current, and since I have done their programs there. They're pretty much a satellite network. They're not really major cable networks, but those who have satellite or dish most likely have this channel as part of their package, whatever, premium or basics. But Obermann, you can actually watch on YouTube. That's how I got to know him, because I clicked on the Current YouTube channel and he was there. And Obermann is pretty much a liberal host. He talks about politics. Mostly it's not conservative politics. But they're very good points he brings up. Some points I like, some points I disagree with. He's pretty much in the ranks of probably Bill O'Reilly and company. If you guys know who Bill O'Reilly is, you know that this is pretty much his swing. And he's been there for quite a while. But apparently they had a falling, according to this report, that the current statements are untrue and will be proven in legal actions. I will be filing against them presently, he added, which basically means that things really went sour. Obermann was reportedly paid $50,000 per show, which is a lot. I mean, that's Rush Limbaugh's money, if you ask me. Kemp Obermann to sue the Current TV issues an apology for network failures after dismissal. Though Current said it will allow Obermann to make political donations provided that he disclosed them to viewers, the liberal leading network and his highest profile host, but it has reportedly over Obermann's role in the Current TV coverage of the 2012 campaign. Obermann missed work on the night of the Iowa caucus and in New Hampshire primary, as well as the day before Super Tuesday primary match. You think you're having a tough day, Obermann, a former host of ESPN's Sports Center, later tweet. Everybody watch Michelle Pena, I don't know what the hell that is. Michelle Pena pitching his way to the Yankee Michael Pena pitching his way to the Yankee rotation. I have no idea what the hell that means. I don't know what the hell this had to do with his situation with that. I'm just going to leave it at that. But, like I said, there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of bickering going on between the sides. And eventually that led Current TV to basically sever ties with them. I will say this, I probably would not have less of a problem with them letting go Keith Obermann if they haven't hired his replacement. And who are they replacing him with is Elliot Spencer. Now, I'm just going to lay it out there for those who don't know who Elliot Spencer is. Elliot Spencer was the former governor of New York. He didn't even last a full term here. He was caught up with a scandal of basically, hiring call girls from other states. He was caught in this situation, which forced him to resign as governor. That was just only 7 months into his term. And later on, he had a talk show host, I believe on CNN, which didn't even last a season. That's how bad the show was. So having him on this, I kind of question the move, especially since they had basically said, since they made a comment saying founders on the Current was founded on values of respect, openness, and credibility and loyalty to our viewers. Unfortunately, these values are no longer reflected our relationship on Keith Obermann, and we have ended it. My question is, what kind of value and loyalty are you going to have with Eric Spencer? Granted, other people across the country don't know who he is, but New Yorkers do. And I'm pretty sure that people remember his last gig, which didn't vote too well. So I'm only, that's just a lot of questions between that. I don't know what they really expect to gain from LA Spencer. I don't even know that LA Spencer has a fan base, to be honest. But Kim Alderman does, and I'm kind of wondering where this is going to lead to. Again, Alderman may sue. Whether he would or not is still a question, because from what I'm gathering from here is that it's more of him not holding up its end of the deal than, current TV just firing him. Again, Current TV, I will leave a link to this article, but I'm also going to leave a link to Current TV's channel so you guys get a feel of what they do. I'm also going to try and get some of Alderman's work so you understand what kind of person he was. Although I seriously doubt you're going to find it in the Current now that he's no longer with them. I'm pretty sure they removed that from their YouTube channel. So if you don't get them, don't be surprised. They may have actually taken them off. So that's pretty much ends that. But again, to me, Alderman was fine. I actually liked his work. I respected his work. He was definitely something I actually watch. Like I said, like anything in the political circus, I agree with some of the stuff he said. I disagree with some of the stuff he said, and I actually look at the other side of the coin from a conservative channel and see what their input on the matter, to get a more even feel about how people was thinking. But again, he was actually pretty good. I actually liked him. If I didn't watch him, I watched probably the Young Turks. So it really was a variety of tastes. So I'm gonna miss him on that channel. But like I said, I don't control it. I didn't even know Alex Spencer had a say on that. I just hope that they can actually patch things up, because it looks like it's getting uglier and uglier there. But hope the truth can only come out sooner or later, so we'll find out who's really at fault. But even with that being said, Kenneth out, Spencer's in. So I'll leave you guys to comment on that matter. Now let's go on to the last one. I saved this for last because I know this was going to aggravate me more, and being that I'm just recovering from from muscle spasms that came out of nowhere, I figured I'd let this be the last one, considering I'm not a fan of Rick Santorum or his views whatsoever. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because on Friday, there was an incident that has happened. Rick Santorum again criticized Kennedy's separation of church and state speech, which I think is not a wise decision to do. But again, Santorum is a overly religious politician. And I say over religious because he believes that there's nothing wrong with the economy or the job market, that God will just fix everything through magic and everything will be fine. That's a man who doesn't have a plan, and that's just my opinion. I'm going to read what it says here. This is, I believe, the Associated Press. And I will leave the link. This is the last link I will give you guys. And then you guys can judge for yourself, leave your comments, whatever. But on Friday, Mitt Romney continued to consolidate establishment support for his presidential candidacy within the Republican Party, getting an endorsement from Representative Republican Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, days ahead of the Wisconsin primary. Rick Santorum, a statement of different. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I'm sorry. Let me read this again. On Friday, Mitt Romney continued to consolidate establishment support for his presidential candidacy within the Republican Party, getting endorsements from Representative Paul Ryan a days ahead of the midterm primaries. Rick Santorum continued to move on, seemingly in a different quest. He's basically going in a different quest, and if you read what he says, you can see why. Santorum wrote a 2,400-word essay defending his stance on what he is trying to convey a month ago when he said that President John F. Kennedy's 1960 speech on church and state made him want to throw up. Santorum has since said he regretted using the specific phrase, but his essay on the Real Clear Religion website did not pull punches and going after Kennedy. Kennedy took words written to protect religion from government and used them to protect government from religion, Santorum said, referring in the phrase separation of church and state. Santorum then compared Kennedy to former Turkish president. Why did he do that? Mustafa Kemal, some guy, I can't get his name. I'll leave a link, you guys can decipher for yourself because I'm not going through this long name. Who in 1923 unearthed an era of secularism into the majority of Muslim community by helping establish the Republic of Turkey. What JFK advocates sounded more like, I can't get this guy's name for my pen on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to then the founding fathers, Madison, the religion ideas and acting were not welcome in public policies debates, Santorum wrote. Basically what it says that Santorum doesn't believe that religion should be separated, that religion should be the dominant rule of America. And that's basically what he's been, basically pushing for a long time. Even though I strongly feel, and this is me saying this, that religion of church, separated of church and state is a must. I do not want one religion telling me what to do, how to think, how to eat, especially when I don't even agree with any of the teaching that churches have to say. That's just me. Kennedy was seeking in the 1960 to become the first Catholic president in U.S. history, at a time when anti-Catholic sentiment was still a factor in politics. Some expressed concern that if Kennedy is elected, that might bring insurrection on how to govern from the Pope in Rome. But Santorum wrote, ultimately Kennedy attempted to ensure presidents that Catholic Church would not control the government and the sovereigns of its independence, advised the philosophy of strict separation that would create purely sectors politics, square cleanse from all religious wisdom and voice the religious people of all faith. That don't make no sense. Kennedy remained the only Catholic president of the United States, and Trump said the public policies making sound. Santorum said that the public policies making should be based on natural law. What? I'm going to read this again. Santorum said that public policies making should be based on natural law. So let's ask ourselves, what is natural law? Anybody can tell me that, please write down in the comment section. I'm curious to hear from them. I'm not even going to argue that. Just tell me what it is. He defines natural law that which can be known through exercise reasons against the possessive or civil law must be measured and indeed amended. He's not even answering the question. Let me read this again so I understand what he's saying. This is why I left it last, because I knew I was going to have difficulty trying to survive with this because he's not making any sense. He defines natural law as that which can be known through exercising excusing of reason against which the positive or civil law must be measured and, if needed, amended. And he calls for more vigorous public debate in which moral versions, essentially whose definition of what is natural law. It should shape the direction of government policy. He's not making any sense. What is natural law? He's just throwing a lot of words out there. Just because you throw a lot of words out there doesn't mean anything. Obviously, not everyone shares Judeo-Christian morals, convictions, he wrote. All of us have an obligation to justify our position based upon something that is accessible to everyone's irrespective of their religious beliefs. We owe the public amendment based on reasons, grounds, and truth. Santorum's decision to write such an essay is a clear sign that anything that, even if it does not win the GOP nomination, he wants to use his time as a competitive candidate to shape the public debate. Such as essay holds a little political upside since it will draw attention to his inflammatory comments in the past about Kennedy. But Santorum is not only trying to influence public discourage. He appears to still be working out from himself how to reconcile his own version to pursue just security with the intense anti-government mode of the conservative grassroots. Yeah, that was a difficult read, guys. I do apologize for that, but I don't know why. I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm not going to try and make this into a religious war. In my own personal opinion, this is my own feeling. This idea that there's war on religion is a joke. It's not even a major issue to me. And in my own opinion, they're just using this because they really, anybody who uses religion and only religion really don't have a plan for what to do for our government. They're just speaking in words that certain people want to hear, and once they get in office, I seriously doubt they're going to even follow through with any stuff they said that is based on religion. To me, I'm more concerned about every other stuff. Religion is not even on my mind. You want to believe what you want to believe, that's fine. Don't force it on me. And I think he wants to force his own beliefs in public party. It's one of the reasons why I don't think he's going to win. Even though he may win some of the states, he's not going to have enough to overtake Mitt Romney. That's just my opinion. If he does win, it would probably be the biggest upset I have ever seen. But as far as his views concerned, his ideas, I don't see him having any. That's just my opinion. I don't see it. He mentioned a speech about freedom, which makes no sense. This idea that religion is under attack. How is it under attack? Because you're not praying in school? Because they won't allow you to voice your religious view on anybody else who may not want to listen to it? Come on, man. I mean, other than that, the churches still have the right to preach and do sermons. I don't remember the church being closed down because they're being oppressed by the government. No. To me, it's all about basically he just using this as a vehicle to get religious votes, and sometimes I find that's very shame because there are other issues he's not discussing, and the fact that he said not too long ago that the economy and job creation is not the problem tells me a lot about his main character. So that's just how I'm going to do. I'm going to leave a link on this. You guys can talk about it. I do apologize about me trying to read that, but it was very, very hard to read. Mainly because a lot of stuff just didn't make any sense to me. So, but I'll let you guys read it. You guys can comment on it. I do apologize for that. That normally doesn't happen too much, but I wanted to make sure what I read is what I read, and even that, I'm just shaking my head. Well, that's just basically it. I do apologize if I didn't get to every last article that was given to me, but unfortunately, there's only so much. I'm already past the 39-minute mark, and I'm not going to make this any bigger. If I can, I'll do it as a separate topic. But again, I was pretty much I was trying to catch up with all the stuff I have not done. A lot of stuff has happened. I'm just getting over a bug, so that's another thing that was another factor. Well, I try to make sure that doesn't happen too often in the near future. But in any case, most of the topics I want to discuss has been discussed. Again, this is just me talking about the news, giving my own opinion on the news. You guys can have your own opinion, share your own opinion, talk about what you guys felt that needs to be talked about. But until then, I guess that's all I can say about that. So there's one thing I will talk about this. So I'm not gonna make a video on this, but I might as well acknowledge I am aware um, that Nancy Grace had made a video finally. I had checked out the video. If I can find it again, I will post it as pretty much as a link video, so you guys can look at it yourself. It's about the Trayvon Martin case. It was pretty much a slice video where they took a clip. It wasn't the whole thing. I was actually looking for the whole thing, but the one I did find was pretty much sufficient. And again, she's talking like a prosecutor, but only this time, I have to say, this is the one time I actually do agree with her foundings. I actually do agree with what she was saying, because everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. I don't know if she's repeating what the masses are saying or not, if it doesn't matter. But I have to say, at least in that part, okay, she recognized that there's something fishy going on and something needs to be addressed. So I have saw that video. It was not a bad video. It was pretty okay. But like I said, even if she wasn't going to talk about it, I wasn't going to spill any angry grapes on it. I actually thought it was actually a good thing she didn't. I'm also aware that Spike Lee. Whoa. I felt that one. Sorry. I'm also aware that Spike Lee has apologized and is going to fork the bill for the elderly couple that was harassed because he decided it was a smart idea to post Zinnemann's address all over the web. It sparked it. This sparked a huge outrage with a lot of people, myself included. It was a dumb move. I already made a video on it. I'm just saying that he did apologize. He did offer an apology, and that he is going to be paying for the damage that he has done. My only beef about this is the same guy who likes to give criticism, and he does this. It's just a boneheaded move. Like I said before in the video that I done earlier, I'm just as mad as this situation as anybody else, but it doesn't give me the right to make a situation worse by giving somebody's address, as well as, you know, encouraging vigilantism, because you don't know how many knuckleheads are out there and they can take advantage of that. So thankfully that these other couple wasn't harmed, but if they do decide to sue, because they are all thinking about suing, they're in the right, because that one idiot, even though Spike Lee hasn't officially wrote the that address on his tweet, he didn't help matters when he retweeted it again and again. So that more I got to say about that. It was a dumb move, unacceptable, and he definitely should own up to what he has done, as well as those who are also responsible for tweeting that address and continuing to tweet that address, which is not also a good thing. But just want to let you guys know I have kept up on it, and hopefully for that family, things can slowly start coming back to normal, because they didn't deserve that. Even Zimmerman don't even deserve that, and I think he should be in jail. But to make death threats and to threaten to kill him along with his family, that's unacceptable to me. But that's just my opinion. You guys may think differently. Of course, your opinions, always welcome them. Whether you agree with this video or not, just let it out there, guys. So until then, this is J77 saying I'm sorry this is just a little long video than usual. And if anything else, you don't have to look at everything. Just find something you like and click onto it. So until then, J77 saying take care.